Hours of service are restrictions on the amount of work a driver is legally allowed to perform within a given shift, day, or week. Drivers are required to adhere to these regulations to remain compliant. In this video, we will review the basics of these hours of service rules and what they mean for a fleet's day-to-day operations. Let's begin. In the U.S. alone, there are about 3.5 million commercial truck drivers employed in the transportation industry. These drivers travel between 2,000 to 3,000 miles per week. Each shipment averages 650 miles. Drivers must deliver their loads within a specific window. Arriving too late or even too early can cause serious logistics issues. They can't always drive extra hours to make up for delays, because they must stay within hours of service regulations that govern how long they can be on the road. With so much at stake, drivers must get enough rest each day to keep our roads, and themselves, safe. Hours of service regulations permit drivers to work for a designated period and require them to rest for a set length of time between work shifts. These rules can vary by state, province, or federal jurisdiction. When drivers do not adhere to hours of service regulations, they risk receiving violations from law enforcement that can negatively impact a driver's and company's overall CSA score. Drivers use 4 main duty statuses to track their hours of service. Off-duty is used when a driver is not working. Sleeper berth is used when a driver is resting in the sleeper berth of their truck. Driving is used when a driver is operating a commercial vehicle. On duty is used when a driver is working but not operating a commercial vehicle. Off-duty and sleeper berth are both considered inactive statuses, while driving and on duty are considered active statuses. In general, whenever a driver is operating a commercial vehicle, they must be in a driving status to capture the movement accurately. However, both the off-duty and on-duty statuses have a special subcategory that allows drivers to operate their vehicle without being in a driving status. Personal conveyance is a subcategory of the off-duty status that allows drivers to move their vehicles for personal use, such as driving to and from a restaurant. As long as the driver is released from all work obligations by their company, they may use the off-duty personal conveyance status in order to remain inactive while operating their vehicle. Any work-related driving must be recorded in a driving status. Yard move is a subcategory of the on-duty status that allows drivers to move their vehicles around a designated area, such as a truck yard or other work location that is not open to the public, without entering a driving status. On-duty yard move is often controlled by a set speed limit or a geofence location set up by a driver's company. Drivers use a variety of rule sets based on the type of freight they carry, how far they travel, and where they operate. Certain U.S. states and Canadian provinces have specialized rule sets drivers can adhere to under specific circumstances. All rule sets are assigned to drivers by their carriers. The most common rule sets used by Trimble transportation customers are the U.S. 7 or 8-day property carrying rule sets and the Canada south of the 60-degree north parallel Cycle 1 or Cycle 2 rule sets. These rule sets are commonly referred to as cycles. U.S. 7 or 8-day property carrying drivers are permitted to work a total of 14 hours per day. A shift starts as soon as a driver enters an on-duty or driving status. Of those 14 hours, only 11 may be spent in a driving status. A 30-minute rest break is required after 8 cumulative hours of driving. Drivers must spend 10 consecutive hours in an inactive status before entering an on-duty status. U.S. 7-day property carrying drivers may work no more than 60 hours over the course of a 7-day period. U.S. 8-day property carrying drivers may work no more than 70 hours over an 8-day period. Once these cycle limits are reached, both rule sets require drivers to spend 34 consecutive hours in an inactive status before they are allowed to work again. This is commonly referred to as a cycle reset. Canada south of the 60° north parallel Cycle 1 and Cycle 2 drivers are permitted to work 16 hours in a 24-hour period. Of those 16 hours, only 14 may be spent in an on-duty status and only 13 may be spent in a driving status. Drivers must spend a total of 10 hours in an inactive status each day, 8 of which must be consecutive. The remaining 2 hours may be taken in 30-minute increments throughout the day. Drivers operating under the Cycle 1 rule set may work no more than 70 hours over the course of a 7-day period. The cycle reset for this rule set is 36 consecutive hours in an inactive status. Drivers operating under the Cycle 2 rule set may work no more than 120 hours over the course of a 14-day period. Before Cycle 2 drivers reach 70 hours of total work, they must complete 24 consecutive hours in an inactive status. Once they reach 120 hours of total work, Cycle 2 drivers must spend an additional 72 consecutive hours in an inactive status. You have completed the Hours of Service 101 training video. To learn more about this product, visit our Learning Center to access on-demand training and online help.